We shall decompose the above fractions into partial fractions. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. Now let's begin with the first one. This is classified as case 3 partial fractions. It has no repeating factors and it has a quadratic factor in the denominator. So in this regard, we have one linear factor and one quadratic factor. Now let's set up the partial fractions decomposition formula for that. And it is given by a over x minus 3 plus bx plus c over x squared plus 2, the quadratic factor. And a, b, and c are constants to be found. Now let's look for the lowest common denominator, the LCD. And in this regard, it is x minus 3 multiplied by x squared plus 2. Okay, and next we shall multiply the LCD throughout that equation. We multiply the LCD by the left hand side, it cancels off, and we have 2x squared plus 6x minus 14, and that is equal to, we multiply the LCD by that term, x minus 3 cancels, and you have a x squared plus 2 plus bx plus c. You multiply this term by that, you have bx plus c multiplied by x minus 3, because this term cancels with that. All right. Now we need to solve for a. To solve for a, we must eliminate this term with b and c. So we are using the cover-up method. So we say let x is equal to 3, because if you let x is equal to 3, we get a 0 for this term, so that we solve for a. Now let's substitute x is equal to 3 into that equation. Now on the left-hand side, you have 2 multiplied by 3 squared. That gives us 18. So we have 18 plus 6 times 3, that is 18, minus 14. And that is equal to a, and we have 3 squared, that's 9, plus 2. We get a 0 for this term, because you say x minus 3, you get a 0, times that, then that term vanishes. Now you say 18 plus 18, you get 36 minus 14, that is 22. 22 is equal to 11a. You divide by 11 both sides, and then you say a is equal to 2. All right. Now, in the next step, we shall look for c. Now, we can let x is equal to 0. So this term with b vanishes, and we remain with c. And by the way, we have just found the value of a. So we can say now, let x is equal to 0. So we eliminate b and solve for c. Okay, now we substitute 0 into that equation. You get 0, a 0, and you remain with minus 14. So we have minus 14 is equal to a. A is 2. So we have 2 multiplied by 2, because we have 0 squared plus 2, that's 2. And then we say plus bx. X is 0, so b vanishes, and we have c. That's what we're looking for. Multiplied by 0 minus 3, you get minus 3. All right. Now we have minus 14 is equal to 4 minus 3c. Then this 4 crosses over, it becomes negative. Then minus 4 minus 14, you get minus 18. That's equal to minus 3c. You divide by minus 3, divide by minus 3. Then we say c is equal to 6. All right. Now we need to look for b. Now to look for b, we can just take any number, but it has to be small enough so that the whole process becomes convenient. But that number doesn't have to be 0, it doesn't have to be 3. So we can just take a small number, which is say, let x is equal to 1. All right. Now we substitute x is equal to 1 into that equation. And on the left-hand side, we shall have 2 plus 6 minus 14. That is equal to a is 2. So we have 2, then 1 squared plus 2, you get 3. So we have 2 multiplied by 3. Plus b multiplied by 1. Then we say plus c. C is 6 from above. Multiplied by 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. All right. Now let's simplify. What can be simplified? 2 plus 6, you get 8. 8 minus 14, you have minus 6. We have 6 on that. Minus 2 times b, minus 2b, minus 12. All right. Then you take this 6 to the other side. It becomes minus. So we have minus 12. So we have minus 6 that's minus 12 to give us minus 2b minus 12. You take this minus 12 to the other side, it becomes positive. So we will be having 12 minus 12. And that's a 0, which is equal to minus 2b. You divide by minus 2 on both sides. Then you say b is equal to 0. All right. Now, let's rewrite that fraction. Now that fraction can be rewritten as 2x squared plus 6x minus 14 divided by x minus 3 into x squared plus 2 is identical to a. A is 2. 2 over x minus 3 plus bx plus c. B is 0 and c is 6. So c 6 divided by x squared plus 2. And then we've managed to decompose that fraction into partial fractions. We are done with the first part. Now let's look at part B of this example. This is classified as case 4 partial fractions, where we have repeated factors in the denominator. Now let's set up the partial fractions decomposition formula for that. It is given by a over x plus b x plus c over x squared minus 1 plus dx plus e over x squared minus 1 squared. And the lowest common denominator in this case is x into x squared minus 1 squared. Now we shall multiply throughout that equation by the lowest common denominator. We multiply the LCD on the left-hand side. We shall remain with 5 x to the power of 4 plus x to the power of 3 minus 7x squared minus x plus 3. Because if you multiply this and this cancels with that. All right. And on the right-hand side, we multiply again by the lowest common denominator. We multiply this first term, we shall have a. So this is equal to a. So x cancels with that, and we have this. So we have x squared minus 1 squared plus bx plus c. You multiply this and that, you shall remain with bx plus c, x squared minus 1, then you have x at the end. Then you say plus, you multiply dx plus e over x squared minus 1 squared times this. This cancels with that, and you have dx plus e multiplied by x. All right. Now let's expand what we have. So we say this is equal to that, and it is also equal to a, when you expand what we have here, you have x to the power of 4 minus 2x squared plus 1, and then you say plus, I can just take this x to this side, so we have x, bx times that, you get bx to the power of 3. Then you have minus bx. Then you say plus c x squared minus c. All right, plus dx squared. You multiplying that and multiply that. You have plus ex. All right, now we can simplify that further. We multiply a by x to the power of 4. We get ax to the power of 4 minus 2ax squared plus a plus bx to the power of 4 minus bx squared plus cx to the power of 3. Then you have minus cx. And we have plus dx squared plus ex. Now let's collect the like terms and factorize. Let's begin by collecting the terms with x to the power of 4. We take this one and that. Then we say a plus b are the coefficients of x to the power of 4. And we only have one term with x to the power of 3, that is plus cx to the power of 3. Let's collect terms with x squared, and we shall have we have dx squared. So we have d minus 2a right here, and then we have b minus b x squared. Okay, so we have x squared like that. And then we move on to the terms with x. We have plus e. We have ex on that, and we also have minus cx. So we have e minus c x, and we have a constant term that doesn't have x, so we say plus a. All right, now we need to compare the coefficients. We are using the method of comparing the coefficients. We are comparing the coefficients of the left-hand side and the coefficients of the right-hand side. So now we can say a plus b is equal to 5. They are all coefficients of x to the power of 4. And we move on to this term. We compare the coefficients. C is equal to 1. All right. So we have c is equal to 1. We have managed to find one of those constants. And then we have d minus 2a, d minus 2a minus b, that is equal to minus 7. All right. And then we also have e minus c, coefficients of x. So we say e minus c is equal to minus 1. So we have e minus c is equal to minus 1, like that. And then we compare a and this constant 3. Then we say now a is equal to 3. We have found two constants so far. All right. Now we can just take this a into that equation. so that we have 3 plus b is equal to 5. And you take 3 to the other side, it becomes negative, so we have 5 minus 3. Then we say b is equal to 2. Now we can move on to this other equation. Now that we have a and we have b, we can solve for d. Then we say d minus 2a. So we have 2, a is 3, so it's 2 multiplied by 3, minus b is 2, is equal to minus 7. Then we say d minus 6 minus 2 is equal to minus 7, minus 6 minus 2, you get minus 8, minus 8 crosses over, you have 8 minus 7. Then we say d is equal to 1. Now, let's solve for e. We can use that equation right here to solve for e. We say e minus c. c is 1. So we have e minus 1 is equal to minus 1. And this minus 1 crosses over, it becomes positive. So we have minus 1 plus 1. That gives us 0. So we say e is equal to 0. Now, let's rewrite that fraction. Therefore, now we say 5x to the power of 4 plus x to the power of 3 minus 7 x squared minus x plus 3 divided by x into x squared minus 1 squared is identical to a over x. A is 3, so we have 3 over x plus bx plus c. b is 2, so we have 2x and c is 1. So 2x plus 1 over x squared minus 1. And we have dx plus e. You remember e is 0 and d is 1. So we simply have x over x squared minus 1 squared. And we have managed to decompose that fraction into partial fractions. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. Enjoy your day.